Hi, I'm Cookie. Welcome back to part 2 of our longest journey yet, sailing from Port St. Joe to Egmont Key and St. Petersburg. When we last talked, we were on night 1 with Jay at the helm, and we didn't have enough wind, so we were motoring. Now, Jay and I each took turns at the helm, about 3 to 4 hours each, and we were really glad when dawn came. There's something about the sunrise and being on the boat on your journey that is just amazing. And honestly, after a really dark night, it's really nice to see the sunshine and have daylight again. Our first order of business for the day was to turn on the water maker, so Jay got that going. We always try to fill our tanks when we know we're in cleaner water to help keep our membranes and our filters a little cleaner. And sometimes when you get in those channels, it's sandy and the water's just not as good as it is out in the open ocean. So here it is, making water. Day 2 was bright and sunny, and we had the sails up still, at least the mainsail, but we were still motoring because we just didn't have enough wind to completely turn off the motors again. And you can see here the animals were right at home, still napping. Every once in a while they'd go a little nuts and run around the boat. So for the rest of the day we hung out, did our watches, took naps, ate our snacks, and just enjoyed the sail, or motoring. It's about 4:30 in the morning. I'm not even sure what day it is, but we are almost at our halfway point to Egmont Key from Port St. Joe. And it is dark. We've got some moonlight. Got our radar, our autopilot. The wind is not quite on our beam, and it's about 12 knots. Keeps fluctuating. Excuse me. And we are going about 6 knots. Almost 6 knots. It fluctuates. So yeah, this is what it's like at night, way out in the middle of nowhere. But it is pretty peaceful, and you can see the stars. The stars are really bright. So yeah, that's where we're at. So day 3, we had a big surprise again, another hitchhiker. And this bird, he looks like he is a speed racer, hunched back bird that's on a mission. He changed positions on the boat multiple times, but he was crazy to watch. He didn't care that we were there, and he just hung out for hours and hours, and he was really a fun dude to have on board. So as entertaining as he was, he finally flew off, and we finally got to Egmont Key around 4:30 in the morning, and we anchored in the dark, which I don't have footage of. We were a little stressed, but we took a little nap, and then we decided to go ahead and go into St. Petersburg. We needed fuel, and we were going to stay on the municipal docks for a couple of days just to rest and get some supplies and just kind of have a little fun. Now, if you remember from previous episodes, I don't like bridges, and here we are going under another bridge. Now our mast is 65 foot tall, so we are pretty sure we're going to fit under this 175 foot bridge.
You look
Now,
like such scaredy
even though
cats.
I know we're going to fit under the bridge because it's 175 feet versus our 65 foot mast, I still have a slight panic attack about this whole thing. So enjoy the footage of us going under the bridge while I'm having a panic attack.
All right, we fit. It's always a good feeling. Woo! Right, Scout.
Here we are as we approach the marina in St. Petersburg. We first got some fuel, then we rested, and then we went to Oak and Stone and had some pizza and cocktails at an amazing waitress named Summer. Here we are in the park, and back to the boat with a beautiful skyline behind her. So the next morning we took Scout and Andy for some walkies. They enjoyed getting off the boat after being on for a couple of nights. And St. Petersburg has a really nice park and pier. Scout and Andy both enjoyed seeing the ducks in the pond and smelling all the smells on the land. They were actually pretty well behaved for the two of them.
Scout, look at the ducks.
I think they were so overwhelmed by the smells, they didn't even see this mama duck with all her babies. That was pretty cool to see. Then it was time to go provisioning. We went to a local Winn-Dixie and loaded up our cart and came back to the boat with a bunch of goodies and lots of replenishment snacks because we like our snacks. So here we are, our last night in St. Petersburg, showing you the beautiful skyline. We were right downtown off the marina there, and very beautiful. It was actually pretty quiet at the dock, but we were packed in that dock, bumper to bumper on the boats. And on the dock, I don't know what was going on, but we got some surprise fireworks. That was really fun to watch. Very entertaining. So kudos St. Petersburg. I don't know what you had going on, but it made for a very interesting night. So the fireworks were a great end to our last night in St. Petersburg. And the next morning, we got up early and sailed back to Egmont Key, where we would stage the next part of our journey and adventure. Just got to our anchorage here again at Egmont Key. Got the doggies. Hi.
Cheddar's passed out. And there's the beach.
So we'd been to Egmont Key before when we were in St. Petersburg for our first boat show in January of 2023. And Egmont Key is a great historical place, so we weren't so much interested in touring it again, but I did want to try out the paddleboard. And let me tell you, that current was pretty tough. This was my first time paddleboarding. You can see I'm a little hesitant to get on the board because I know I'm not going to get on it. I'm going to fall right smack in the water. Now, I had a knee replacement about 2.5 years ago, so kneeling on the board is not an option for me. So I'm going to sit on it very ungracefully, and I am going to attempt to swim over to the beach and paddleboard back. Now, in case you're wondering, I did survive, but Jay had the dinghy ready and was ready to come get me because that current was very strong. I definitely got an arm workout that day. So I survived. I made it back to the boat, and I think Jay was a little relieved he didn't have to come get me in the dinghy, even though he had it ready. And Scout was relieved just as much as Jay that I survived and made it back to feed him that evening. So for the rest of the evening, we made dinner and got ready for the sail the next day, heading down the East Coast. We are headed towards the Dry Tortugas, but it's going to take us a little bit to get there. So stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.